Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
Righto, Rhodey, great to be here for day 3 of the boat show. How you going?
I'm very good, Diz. Yes, it's been good, and I'm very impressed with the beanies down here in the front row, Diz.
Yes, very well done, and savage tackle gear there as well, no doubt. So, been a good day. I thought the weather might have turned a few people away, but still a great turnout.
It is, Diz. It's good to be here for the final day, and we've got a big guest today. But first of all, Diz, we'll sort of introduce ourselves. So we're All the Gear But No Idea. We're a South Australian fishing podcast. We put an episode out about every 2 weeks, Diz.
Yeah. Good excuse to catch up and have a beer and talk a bit of fishing with you, mate. So, yeah, we get a guest on every week, a few regular segments, talk a bit of fishing news, and there's always something to talk about in that regard. And, Rhodey, we've been very fortunate to be joined by a previous guest of the show. Caleb, great to have you here, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Good to be here, thanks.
So Caleb has a YouTube channel called Fishing in the Dark, and we'll get a bit into some of his challenges of his fishing career and how he gets around. But first off, we're going to start off with Caleb. Tell us about your first best fish.
Best fish at the moment would have to be 124 centimetre kingfish caught last year out with Absolute Fishing from Coffin Bay.
How good. That's amazing, mate. That would have pulled some string.
Yeah, she was a battle and a half, mate.
Mate, what's your favourite thing about fishing?
It's just the time out there, really. You get a lot of anticipation and a lot of relaxation waiting for something to happen. But when the line starts peeling out, it's just that overwhelming excitement. It's hard to figure out anything that can beat it, really.
Yes, that's a very common sort of response for a lot of our guests, Caleb. Can you tell us about how you got into fishing, or what's your first memory of it?
I grew up in New Zealand, fishing out with my dad and on my granddad's boat from the Bay of Plenty, and I suppose starting in the harbour handlining snapper before we were deemed old enough to get out offshore, and primarily fishing for table fish out there, though. Dad's from a big family, so it was more about feeding everyone than too much of the sport stuff. But just that time spent with family is amazing, and shared experience, really.
And they get some good fish around there. Is it better fishing than South Australia?
It's just different. Like my granddad was pretty much a human fish finder, so we never went home hungry. But again, target species. We'd have marlin swimming around the boat and point it out to Grandad, and he'd go, "Yeah, that looks very pretty. Get those hooks back on the bottom. We need a feed." So we primarily fish for snapper and terraki, or what you guys call jackass morlong. Occasional blue cod and whatnot. And believe it or not, sort of kingfish as a bit of a bycatch. So it was great fishing. It was a great way to grow up, but I never really got into the rod and reel sport side of things until I was over here. So SA's got a lot to offer, and as does the rest of Australia as well.
Diz, the human fish finder sounds a bit like me, doesn't it?
Oh, that's a stretch, mate. But having kingfish as a bycatch, Caleb, that's a luxury we don't really have here.
Yeah, it was definitely different way. I mean, they were nothing like the size of the ones I got over in Coffin Bay, where we're sort of probably sitting around that sort of 80 centimetres to a metre over there as bycatch. But when you're doing that on a hand line, it kind of hurts.
Caleb, tell everyone what your favourite sort of fishing is these days and why.
Oh, look, anything blue water offshore, mate. I love chasing big fish that pull hard. So I love SA getting out just anywhere where something big might eat my bait, really. So.
Yes, good fun, isn't it, Caleb? Now tell us about your funniest fishing story, or the one that got away.
Oh, look, last time I come on with you guys, I was talking about my brother making me throw cast up into sand dunes because I was being a smart ass. But I suppose this time it's not so much the one that got away, it's the ones that keep getting away. I've had a couple of trips up north over the last couple of years, and one of my bucket list fish is a big GT, and so far I've managed to get 4 or 5 of them on the hook, and they've either dusted me in the reef or got eaten by the taxman. So I suppose at the moment it's that GT that keeps getting away from me that takes the cake.
So when's the next trip, Caleb, to chase it and get it this time?
I'm hoping maybe sometime next year. I've got another trip coming up to back over the west coast to Coffin Bay, hopefully in April. And if I can get my dad and my brother amongst it, we're hoping to head up to Exmouth in January for a trip that got cancelled earlier this year due to the border closures. So never know, that trip could turn out to beat Darwin for the GTs. I know they get some big specimens over there too. So.
Absolutely, mate. That's fantastic. Well, we'll look forward to keeping up to speed with all of your adventures there. Thanks for answering those 5 questions. Do you mind talking through, everybody, the types of challenges that you face fishing with the lack of vision?
Yeah, no worries. Look, I suppose the primary one is getting to the fishing spots. You know, I mean, we're pretty lucky with the NDIS now. Like, I got brought here by Adam Penny from JL42. They're a peer support group that the NDIS funds to get us to the fishing spots. Well, get funds to do a lot of things, but gets me to the fishing spots. But yeah, just access to it's probably your primary challenge. And then, you know, when you're out there, I love fishing because I can learn and do a lot of it myself. But a big part of the reason I run my YouTube channel is also to show the benefit and the positives in someone like myself with a disability working with people who are able-bodied, who are willing to work with me to make those dreams come true. So, you know, they take me out, they put me on the spots, they find the fish for me. All I have to do really is reel them in. So, you know, but
I think you're making it sound a bit easier than it probably is.
Look, there's always challenges involved, mate. You know, but each challenge is just another obstacle to be overcome. You know, like I said, I love learning new things, learning new knots, but sometimes learning those from the internet can be a real pain because they're obviously a visual platform. So trying to get my head around when someone goes, you know, twist something left 26 times and around this way and around that way, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell are you talking about? But, you know, figuring it out, and then the sense of achievement, like the first time I finally figured out how to tie an FG knot was amazing, but then to get out and put it onto a big fish and have the knot not slip, you know, it's just a sense of achievement that makes it all worthwhile.
Well, Dizzy still buys all his rigs pre-made, so you're one ahead of him, mate. Shout out to Dan over there, the fishing guru.
Yeah,
Dizzy's keeping him in business.
Tell us, Caleb, some of the tips and tricks you use while you're out there to make things a bit easier for you.
Look, on my own boat, it's just about organisation. You know, I've got to somewhat know, or I try to somewhat know where I keep everything in their own set compartments. When the fishing gets exciting, I scatter crap all over the boat and then completely put paid to any of that previous statement. But yeah, look, it's just try to be organised. I prefer to fish in boats with less people on them, or like if I go beach fishing and that, I prefer to go to less frequented places so that I've got less chance of being a bit of a pain. Casting over or tangling up with other people, try to be as mindful of others as I can. But yeah, just mainly it's just organisation. I sort of prep for everything, probably don't sleep too well the night before because I'm thinking about everything I have to get organised. But yeah, just that old saying, be prepared and be prepared for anything. And
can you tell us about your own boat, Caleb? How long you had it, where you like to take it?
Yeah, so I've got a 1984 18-foot Seafarer half cab. It's mine and my dad's and my brother's. But my brother lives in Western Australia, so he forfeits his part anyway. But at the moment, I prefer to launch it down on the southern Fleurieu around from Wirrina or Cape Jervis, or when the churner's running out from the bluff, closer to home. I'm not really that bothered about metro fishing unless I'm just going for a local squidder, unless the weather's no good down the Fleurieu. But as I said, I prefer least frequented places. Obviously, Victor and tuna season's not less frequented, but I'll deal with that anyway. But yeah, just anywhere I can get offshore that I can hopefully get a good sized fish on board.
Fantastic, mate. And tell everybody out here today some of the amazing fishing trips you've been on. You've been down to Port Mac, Darwin, you mentioned Coffins, and you're heading back over there again. Tell us some of your highlights.
Oh, look, you know what, the first set of vids that started my channel was the 3-day liverboard out with Absolute fishing charters, who unfortunately aren't around anymore, but you know, I just that was over Coffin Bay, and just massive kingfish, Samson fish, heaps of tuna, blue groper, nanagai, everything you could hope for really, and just a really good bunch of people. I mean, that's the other thing I love about fishing, is all the really cool guys and girls I've met over the journey. It's just, you know, there's some amazing people who are heaps willing to give heaps of advice and heaps of help. So, you know, and just share a yarn and a story. And, you know, I've obviously got more excuses than most to over-exaggerate the size of my fish. So, but look, I had trips to Coffin Bay, as you said, a couple of trips up north to Darwin, where I keep encountering the bloody taxman. A couple of trips down to Port Mac. One of them was down specifically to chase barrels, but I don't know whether I would have been better off coming home with a donut. And when you get a 5 kilo jelly bean jump up and eat a game skirt, it's a bit embarrassing. But then the second trip out, I had my first crack at deep dropping. So we got out amongst a big patch of harp hooker, and I managed to pull up my first fish was I think 136 or 138 centimetres, about 28 kilo harp hooker. And then we went on to get I think another 20 odd of those, a bit smaller, so it's probably the best freezer filler I've ever fished, and the first time I've ever fished in over 400 metres water too, so that's been cool. And then locally I've been out with Fluorio fishing charters out with Ben Shannon down there, so yeah, look, just get amongst it with a lot of really cool people and chasing some really cool fish.
Very good fishing resume. You're putting most of us to shame there, mate. Now, can you tell us about, there was a great SA Angler article recently from Jamie Crawford. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I met Jamie on the first trip over with Absolute Fishing, and he penned out an article for Fishing World that came out this February, and then just recently in the spring edition of SA Angler, he did a follow-up on our last trip out to out with Ash Smith with Air Peninsula Fishing Adventures. I asked Jamie if he wanted to come out and flick a line again, and we were lucky enough to get amongst some tuna, some Samson fish and some kingies, and it seems to, from Jamie's account, seems to be sparking a little bit of a rivalry between us, which is always good to have a yak and a yarn. He's a gun fisherman, and very well versed in those areas, so he's a great bloke to touch base with and seek some advice for different species and different techniques. So, but yeah, absolute pearler of a guy, and good fun out fishing with him.
I was going to say, you had a pretty good tour guide for that part of the world. He knows his stuff down there, doesn't he?
Oh, sure does.
Awesome, mate. Now, you've also been fishing down at the Yonk by yourself, and you do a bit of that stuff as well, fair bit of land-based as well as out on the boat?
Yeah, I do. I love fishing in the Onk. It's just it's one of those places where my missus can just drop me down there, and then she goes off to the gym or goes shopping or does whatever, and it's kind of one of those places where I feel like I don't have to wait around for someone else to take me fishing and then spend the whole day down there with me. I can go down and just be quiet and have a couple of coldies by myself, chuck on my music and flick out a line, hope something wants to eat it.
And do you have much luck down there, Caleb?
Look, I think like most land-based, it's hit and miss, and obviously the guys that hit that river hard and seem to do really well, they tend to prospect around there a lot, whereas I tend to do a lot more set and forget and wait for the fish to come to me. But I mean, I've got up to I still haven't quite cracked the legal mulloway. Last year in January, I got a 81 centimetre one. So when you fall a centimetre short, it's a bit hurtful. But I've got some big brim out of there. I think up to about 41 centimetres, and the other times, and I suppose back to your funny story one, I seem to be on a competition with myself to see how many species I can get the smallest specimens of. And my theory is it takes a lot more skill to get a big hook and a little mouth. So, some of the brim would be lucky to be a couple of knuckles of my pinky finger. And some of the mulloway, you'd probably get a better fillet off a garfish. So, but it's just that thing about fishing, isn't it? It's that anticipation and waiting for something exhilarating to happen. So the Onk delivers with that, and it's nice and relaxing at the same time, and close to home. So.
That's fantastic, mate. Now, you're very good on your social media, the YouTube page. You do all of that yourself and create the content and that type of thing, get a bit of help?
Yeah, look, I was just talking to my mate before about it. I mean, I love it. The social media pages, the Instagram and the Facebook, I pretty much control myself. But one of the, I suppose, most frustrating things about the YouTube thing is the video editing. And again, it's waiting for somebody who knows what they're doing, because I'm by no way, shape or form an IT expert, and I've lost a bunch of videos, and I get my daughter to help out by putting a picture up, and she'll put up a tuna, and I'll say it's a kingfish, and it's a bit hit and miss. So yeah, unfortunately, waiting around makes it really slow and makes it non-productive. So the YouTube stuff it's a lot of fun, but it's slow. But the opportunities it's given me off YouTube, like meeting you fellas and the stuff in the SA Angler and fishing world, and it's sort of spreading the world a lot more generically and organically than what I ever expected it would. So, hopefully somebody uses it as a good encouragement to get out there and get amongst it, chase their goals, and have some fun doing it.
Yeah, we wanted to ask you a bit about that, Caleb. Can you give us some tips for anyone else sort of overcoming challenges to pursue fishing or pursue their hobby?
Yeah, look, I think it's one of the things of when you know what you want to do. Sometimes it can seem daunting, and sometimes it can seem like it's all out of reach. But one thing I've found is that people generally are really, really happy and really willing to help out. So sometimes you've got to swallow your pride and just reach out and ask. And as I say, fortunately, there is organisations out there that that's what they do and that's their job. So that's one avenue, and then I can't thank my unofficial supports enough. Be it my family, be it my mates, be it people that I've met over the journey that now just reach out. The guys from the fishing shop, like Dan at Let's Go Fishing and James at Mid Coast. It's they're really neat guys. I think James Flack's been down here. I've caught up with him and got some of his skirts to go chasing the barrels, and people are just really willing to help. So, but if people don't know to help, they're never going to help. So, sometimes we've got to, go hat in hand and ask for a hand, and yeah, you'll be surprised at how happy people are to point you in the right direction, if not take you to where you need to be.
Fantastic, Caleb. You're an inspiration, mate. What you do is very impressive, that's for sure. So before we wrap things up with you, mate, tell everybody out there your favourite video so that when they get home they can go and watch one of the highlight reels of Fishing in the Dark.
Well, my favourite video so far, that's hard to say, actually. The one that's done the best on there was a real surprise. It was actually the flying solo down at the Onkaparinga chasing juvenile mulloway, and I really threw that one on the channel just as a interim. We hadn't quite finished editing the other things, and I wanted to keep the content going. And that thing just, as far as my videos goes, it exploded completely unexpectedly. I didn't think it'd do anything, and it's the most viewed video on the link. So that's just a blind bloke chasing Onkaparinga mulloway, I think's the title. But look, like I said, I love chasing kings, mate. So there's. Earlier this year I caught my first ever kingfish on a jig. It was also the only metre plus king I caught this year. So there's a short video of that one, just jigging for kings. And then there's a full video of that whole day's trip, which is, I think it's a Blind Man's Coffin Bay trifecta. Check that one out. It's more recent. It's a longer video, but it's definitely worth a look.
Awesome, mate. Thank you very much. Rody, been great again to be here on the last day.
It certainly has, Diz. We've had some great guests over the 3 days, and we also want to give a big shout out to Savage Tackle, so the stall just down the road. Got great burley pots, sinkers, all that sort of stuff, and they've also been kind enough to have our caps and beanies down there for the week, Diz. So big shout out to Simon and the team.
Yep, absolutely, and we'll have all these episodes up. You're chief of editing, so when can they expect to see them, mate?
This afternoon, if all things go to plan, Diz. We'll see how we go. But so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can find us on there. We're up to episode 67, Diz.
Yes, yeah.
And plenty more good guests to come.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we'll enjoy everything that's got to offer here at the boat show for the rest of the day. And get online and find us if you're interested in having a listen to our podcast. And
thanks also to Tracy and the team, Team Just a Girl, for organising the fishing part of the boat show.
Yeah, it's been great. And make sure you go and get a raffle ticket. When's that being drawn? Sold?
As soon as they're all sold, they'll be drawn, which is pretty cool, and that's to help the girls get to Exmouth. 10,000, 12,000 bucks worth of petrol. We worked it out at $2 a litre, but we'll probably get it for way more than that. So that's the plan for the girls. You know, look, they've not caught marlin before, but how hard can it be?
You're always up for a challenge, Tracy.
Certainly am. You know, we've fished all the comps in South Australia now, so it's time to spread our wings a little bit, and GameX is the biggest one in Australia. So it's
Going
going to be
straight
pretty
to
cool.
the top, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Straight to the top, no mucking around for these girls, eh?
That's it.
Us Kiwi anglers are just awesome, you know. We're always looking for a challenge.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Well, thanks, guys. It's been awesome having you on the stage this year. It was something we tried new, and you know, you'll be welcome to come back next year.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. We missed out last year because you guys were away fishing.
We were
Yes.
at Streaky Bay last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All good. All right.
Excellent. Well,
Thanks,
thank you, guys. Can we put our hands together for the guys from All the Gear and No Idea, and also from Caleb? Thanks for coming down today, Caleb.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.